Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It's Wednesday evening, much to my surprise. I was having a whole thing that it was Thursday today. But no, it's Wednesday evening, and this evening we are talking Hold Your Head High. Yep, I'm on a roll. What can I say? Where this came from was just reading a few articles, looking at some media, and there's a number of people who have said, do you know, I'm mortified at having to go and use the food bank. I'm mortified that I'm only putting a few pound on my electric meter. I'm mortified that I can only put a fiver of petrol in the car or whatever. Do you know, I'm sure my kids think bad of me. I'm sure that other mums think bad of me. Um, you know, all this sort of peer pressure to try and be what people expect from you. You don't have to be what people expect from you. All you have to do is be the best you can be. And if that means that you go and use a food bank to make sure your family's fed, then more power to your elbow. Go you. If that means that you maybe walk somewhere more often or take a bus, then go you. There is no shame in that. And I am sick to the back teeth of the media doing all this mass hysteria about how, oh, this person can't afford this, and oh, look at them, poor them, we've got so many food banks. Well, you know something, Seeing said is stirring up all this angst. Maybe try helping, maybe try a bit of positivity, maybe try looking at, well, if we actually promoted this rather than decrying that, if we maybe showed people where to get help and did more articles on how well people were doing while they were struggling rather than shame them, I think we would do an awful lot better. And it's starting to happen all the time now. You're getting these articles that are coming in the media with the, oh, this happened, they should all be ashamed. No, they're all looking after their own. And if you're doing that, then that is a good thing. That means that you are managing to keep yourself, body and soul, together. And how you do that, as long as it's legal and not hurting anyone, then that is up to you. Because there is no shame in changing the way you eat so that you can budget better, so that you can afford to eat for 7 days instead of 5. There is no shame in changing what you wear so that you're maybe wearing stuff that's not as fashionable as it used to be. In fact, it should be a big thing that we now stop buying the throwaway fashion. It should be a positive that we're doing that. We should not be shaming people. And certainly we shouldn't be shaming people for things that are not their fault when it's someone else that has caused the problem. We shouldn't be shaming the single mum who's struggling to pay the childcare because she's lost her job, because the pub where she used to clean or the restaurant where she used to waitress has had to close because of the cost of living crisis. That is not her fault. Nor is it the young lad who started his apprenticeship in mechanicking. It's not his fault either that he's lost his job and can't afford the rent on the family place anymore. And they're now looking to use the food bank. And he's trudging around on the bus trying to find another job because the garage he was at had to close because of the rent prices and the power prices. We all know people who have had to have an absolute sea change in their life because of this cost of living crisis. Whether it's because they've lost their job, whether it's because they've lost the roof over their head because their landlord's selling up, or because there's mould everywhere. This is nothing for them to be ashamed of. This is circumstances that have put them where they are today. And I think we should be supporting them rather than vilifying them. It's not their fault. It's not their fault that businesses are closing. hand over fist. It's not our fault that businesses are closing hand over fist. It's not our fault that our wages aren't going as far as they used to. And it most certainly is not our fault that we are having to change how we live to ensure that we still have a reasonable standard of living. And by that, I mean not having to starve ourselves for 2 days a week. So, if you see someone needing some help, even if you're not able to help them yourself, find out where your local community food bank is. Find out where your local community fridge is. Because sometimes, especially for food banks like the Trussell Trust, there has to be referrals, there has to be things, and they're only allowed 3 a year or something like that. I don't know how it works. I just know that you can't go there every single week. But a local community fridge, you can go there every single week. A local community garden, you can go there when they've got stuff. You don't have to prove you're destitute. So let's find out where those places are. Let's tell everybody, because even if you tell your workmates that you know are on a reasonable wage, maybe something's happened in their lives that you don't know about. Maybe their kids are actually going to have to come back to stay with them and they're going to struggle. And another thing that just went in my head, what can I say? My daughter runs about in a car. She bought it new. She's paying a hefty amount of money. And she is cutting her cloth to suit because if she loses that car, she can't work in the job she's in. So much as I thought it wasn't one of her better ideas to have debt for that car, because I've never done that, I always buy old bangers until they die. Sometimes that's what people have to do, especially younger people, because they have no idea how to keep old bangers going. They have no idea how to know if this old banger that they're thinking of buying that looks like a really good deal is something with sawdust in the engine. See, I know about that. My daughter does not. So, yeah, I think it's time to hold our heads high. We are doing well at helping and preparing us and ours. And we should hold our head high and we should help each other to hold our head high, because there is no shame in doing your best for you and yours. Catch you later.